after you've experienced the freedom of this heavenly immortal body that is yours. It is radiant, it's immortal, and that body is yours. And the day will come, you will complete the journey in these garments, and then that body will come out. And when that body comes out, you, the sent, will return to yourself, the sender. And you and I will rejoice together in a heavenly sphere that you cannot depict by using any image on earth to describe it. It can't be done. Because eyes have not seen it and ears have not heard it. And how can you tell it? Until he brings you where those who have gone there have been. Can't do it. But here I am here to encourage you to set your hope fully upon this grace that is coming to you. It is coming. No power in the world can stop it. You came down deliberately. No one took your life. They're going to tell it on the second day of April is Easter. So 2 days before that they're going to tell a story which isn't so at all. Our man was crucified by people who would not believe him. Isn't so? The crucifixion took place in the beginning of time. And when you are born a woman, that's when you are crucified here. But I was crucified with the cosmic Christ in the beginning of time. And then I came down into this world. And my mother gave me a garment of flesh and blood. And that's the cross I wear. That's my slave. I'm a slave of that cross. For I can't command anyone to perform any of its normal natural functions for me. I have to perform them myself. Eat myself, assimilate and eliminate, and no one in the world can do it for me. No matter how much money I have, and how powerful I am, and what I am. I have got to perform the normal natural functions of that brother donkey. So I'm writing that towards the end. And they're going to weep and say a certain group, a certain race crucified a man. Didn't do it at all. Have we not read the Bible? No one takes away my life. I lay down of myself. I have the power to lay it down and the power to take it up again. So he confesses that no one has ever taken away his life. And yet for 2,000 years we perpetuate the lie and tell that story over and over and over. And it isn't so at all. Read it in the Gospel of John. The most profound book in the New Testament is the Gospel of John. No one takes away my life. I lay it down myself. I have the power to lay it down and the power to take it up again. And so I have laid it down myself, willingly, to enter this arena. And at the end I can say what Paul said. I have finished the race. I have kept the faith. Henceforth there is laid up for me the crown of righteousness. And then he goes on to say, let no one bother me. For I bear on my body the marks of Jesus. Everyone will bear them because everyone has them. The marks are there, but they're not driven in with any little nails. They are whirling vortices. A vortex binds me here, a vortex binds me here. One to my right and two, my two souls. The six-pointed star of David, that's the Christ star. He is the son of the Lord's handmaid. So you can safely say, and mean it when you say it, you have not yet brought forth the Christ child, but I am Mary, and birth to Christ must give, if I in blessedness for now and evermore would live. In my own case, I have brought forth the Christ child. But I can say to those who have not yet had the experience, you can put it in that tense that I've just quoted. Because everyone's going to have the experience. And not one will fail. And then you will see the mystery. The whole thing is a mystery. So tonight, you take your ideals, you take your dreams, and dare to assume that you have already realized them. Knowing on the surface you cannot do it. You do not know where to turn. But believe me, the depth of your own being knows. All things are possible to him. Before Mary said, "Behold, the handmaid of the Lord," the angel said, "With God all things are possible." The same thing said prior to the first child promised in Genesis. Is anything too hard for God? It's the same. It's simply a different translation of the same meaning. Is anything too hard for God? And so the child was named Isaac because Isaac means he laughs, and the Christ child laughs. The minute you hold him, the face bursts into the most heavenly smile, and the whole thing dissolves as you're holding him in your arms. You brought forth the Christ child. When you dwell upon this, it may not seem practical. It's more practical than anything in the world. A man 80 years old and still knowing that tomorrow he's going to be called and still is interested only in another billion. Well, to me, it's the height of insanity. But let him have it. Let him have all that he wants. I don't want it. With it goes a tremendous responsibility. And I don't want that responsibility. If he wants it, let him have it. But tonight, on this level, you formulate in your mind's eye the one you would like to be, man or woman. And then, having formed it, if perchance tomorrow, like my friend, you wonder, don't waste one precious moment in condemning yourself. Forgive, forgive, forgive. And forgiveness means testing one's ability to enter into and partake of the nature of the opposite. So you find yourself in this state now, which is wandering away. Go back to that state that you have chosen. Go back, how often? 70 times 7. As often as it takes to keep the vision fixed, so that that mold will always be before the depth of your own being, for he works from the mold that you supply. So you supply him a glorious mold, but don't condemn yourself when you depart from it. Don't. Condemn no one. Leave them alone. So the Christ of the Bible, one day he stands before you and call you Father. And remember, Christ is the Son of God. The Jesus of the Bible, one day you'll know who you are, and you are he. Jesus is the Lord God Jehovah. And Christ is his Son. We put them together like one name, like Neville Goddard. It isn't Neville Goddard. In this world, yes, I'm Neville Goddard. But Jesus Christ are two separate states, I would call them. One is the Son, that's Christ, and Jesus is the Father. Listen to the words. He who sees me sees the Father. How then can you say to me, Philip, show us the Father? Have I been so long with you, and yet you do not know the Father? If you knew me, you know the Father. In the Spirit calls him my Lord. So is he not now the Father? For my Lord is the Father. And David called him my Lord. So David is calling his own Father. And he's telling you now who he is. It's the greatest mystery in the world, eternally taking place, eternally true. You take it to heart, and if you have it played over and over, these ideas that are so different from what man has been taught to believe,